Hi everyone, my name is Elliot, co-founder of Mnemonic, where we create advanced customer intelligence with the power of AI. This video is about using personas to overcome some of the biggest hurdles and challenges in influencer marketing. Sounds good, right? Well, let's be realistic. Many challenges and black holes still need attention, and influencer personas will not solve all of them, but certainly will bring more clarity. We'll now look into more detail of those different aspects. Whether you're an organization that works with influencers or are an influencer yourself, this video will provide new input and approaches. Let's quickly highlight why analytical maturity in influencer marketing is so important. The following statistics come from a report from the Influencer Marketing Hub. Based on this report, 23% of the respondents plan to spend over 40% of their marketing budget on influencer marketing. A massive portion when you consider how much organizations emphasize evaluating their SEO, PPCs and other marketing endeavors, whereas influencer marketing still appears to be a black box for analytics. The good news is that enterprises put much more emphasis on measuring the ROI on influencer campaigns nowadays. Around 75% of the survey respondents track sales from their influencer campaigns, and 71% measured the ROIs, rising from 2021 70% and 2022 67% results. However, companies still wonder why one influencer performs better than the other and how they can improve their influencer choice in the future. Looking at marketing in general, whether PPC campaigns, SEO or affiliate marketing, the better the match between customer needs and their satisfaction, the better the performance of the endeavor. Therefore, the essential success factor of influencer marketing is finding the perfect match between the brand, influencer, and their followers. So let us look at what influencer personas are and how they help to find the perfect match. So what is an influencer persona? Personas are archetypes of the customer base. Compared to target audiences, personas provide a deeper view of the user groups with a background story, needs, pain points, emotions, go-tos, triggers, interests, and psychographics. Organizations can understand their customer in a personalized way by using personas to achieve customer centricity. Influencer personas present the compressed follower-based segments. So advantages of influencer personas for the influencers themselves is, for instance, creating them helps the influencer get a clear understanding of the follower base. An influencer is a brand that must understand who it is speaking and selling to. All personas features mentioned above will help create better communication strategies and content. Understanding followers' interests and needs allow the influencer to use the right content and hashtags to attract new followers and to please the existing ones. In the years when influencer marketing was still in its infancy, the only real KPI that mattered was choosing an influencer was the size of the follower base. Luckily, these days are over, and companies now look more at real engagement and conversions rather than simple follower count. Accordingly, to convince a brand to work with him, the influencer must provide more insights about the follower base and create content that leads to engagement by effectively addressing the follower's needs and interests. So summing up, influencer personas provide the following advantage for the influencer. It's a clear overview of the follower base, and so it enables them to create engaging content tailored to the psychographic interests and needs of the follower base. A clear overview of the companies with the products that match the follower interests and needs guarantee a lucrative ROI. In contrast, they will help determine companies whose products or services offerings are not a good match. So now let's look at the influencer personas usage in organizations. Ideally, an influencer understands followers like a company understands its customer base. The main challenge is to choose the right influencer, correct? So the question is, how to do it? Sometimes choosing the right influencer seems straightforward. Let us take Patagonia, a brand that plans to promote its outdoor gear through influencers. A match to someone whose main content is climbing, hiking and camping seems to be a great fit and pretty obvious. Well, but for others with less specific products, such as a finance organization app, choosing the right influencer is challenging. Of course, they might locate micro-influencers that discuss content around finance, but you could assume that this audience is already too advanced for a basic app that helps you get a grip on your financials. So, when choosing an influencer, companies choose different strategies. They either look at influencers that match their current customer base, or they pick influencers with a diverse customer base to attract new target audiences. In both cases, clearly understanding the audience is critical to choosing the right partners, since they have a clear overview of the demographics, content topics, engagement, true interests, pain points, emotions, and physical traits of the follower base. So now let's look at the creation of personas or influencer personas. We should first discuss by whom and how the influencer personas should be created. If you have a trustworthy influencer agency, you can rely on the personas created or supervised by the agency. Nevertheless, when we talk about spending big money on an influencer, it might be worth doing your own research and ensure the presented information is accurate. Indeed, when you plan to create a long-term relationship with a chosen influencer, this evaluation is critical to gain an independent and unbiased assessment of the follower base. The persona creation process should always be 100% data-driven. Asking the influencer to create the personas based on their experience and gut feeling is never a good idea. Ensure the presented information is genuinely based on data to avoid bias and manipulation. Having influencer personas is only helpful if the organization has personas for its own business. So creating personas for the company first is the basis, because it helps to create a perfect influencer mockup. This perfect influencer persona will act as a benchmark tool to compare and evaluate the different influencers. So now let's talk about mapping the brand and influencer personas. To make influencer personas more tangible, let us look at the different persona features and how they can help with the finance organization app's decision-making process. We will use a persona created for the app to envision this process. So let's talk about demographic first. Gathering demographic information is easy. Either you look at the internal statistics and the profiles, or use one of the external tools. The goal is to map and compare the features of your brand and or product personas. The closer the match, the better the outcome will be. Here's a typical demographic section. So with demographics from your user persona, you can derive various suggestions on how the followers' demographic should look and whether the potential influencer is a good fit for this customer segment. An old adult with 20 years of experience who talks about heavy stock investments is probably not the right fit. So Sarah, our persona, she's very young and just started her career with a reasonably small income. So someone younger who focuses on smaller investment portfolios would undoubtedly be a better fit. The next section I want to highlight are the so-called go-tos. Here are some of the most critical information Sarah needs to hear and understand to be attracted and engaged by the content. Here are the topics. So accordingly, the company should find influencers that discuss these topics. In this context, we should discuss KPI engagement, one of the most critical factors in evaluating an influencer's potential. The problem is that just looking at influencers' engagement rate is misleading. The specific content-related engagement matters. So you must investigate how many people engage with the content, not the influencer. Let's take this influencer that advertises a new detergent as an example. The engagement rate of 6% is fantastic compared to the 1 to 3% average. However, if you look closer, you realize there is no actual content-related engagement. So what is an engagement KPI worth if there is no follower reference to the product? How are laughing or heart-shaped emojis or comments like "you're so hot" or "check your DMs" worth anything for the detergent company? Enterprises should focus on the reactions that deal with the content or the product itself. Ask yourself, what is worth more in this case? Like 1,000 comments consisting of hearts and meaningless emojis, or 200 comments asking questions about ingredients, availability or sustainability? I think the answer is pretty clear. So the next section I would like to discuss are the persona interests. You probably know the situation where you attend a party, start a conversation, realize that you have a common interest, like good wines, dogs or surfing, and you instantly bond with that person. A close community is likely created if companies identify common interests between their personas, the influencer, and his followers or her followers. It provides opportunities to combine product placement with interests. So here are Sarah's interests. Imagine now the influencer dancing with a dog to good club music, celebrating that she finally sorted her financials. Sarah will feel connected with that influencer instantly. Remember that up to 95% of purchase decisions are made subconsciously. To attract new customers, you need to develop a mechanism to connect on a personal level. So now let us focus on the emotions. In this context, analyzing and understanding the customer's emotions and having an influencer associated with them will automatically lead to more trust and engagement. Have a quick read on her emotions. So, based on Sarah's emotions, imagine the influencer addressing her frustrations. The influencer creates polls and surveys to find common ground for her financial freedom within the follower base, to help Sarah decide. On top of that, imagine the influencer sharing her pain of living in such an expensive surrounding. Sarah will relate and feels connected to the influencer. So now finally, let's talk about matching brand, influencer and follower personalities. For many enterprises, brand safety is a critical factor when choosing influencers. By evaluating the followers' topic expertise, content tonality, content-related engagement, and other factors, you're a step closer to security to secure your brand safety. Nevertheless, you should not stop there, but evaluate how the brand personality matches one of the influencers and their followers. So the brand personality transports the company's values and consequently invokes certain emotions and feelings in the customers. Without developing a suitable brand personality, you remain just another offer. Suppose an organization finds influencers with the same personality traits as the brand. In that case, the chances are good that the followers will connect with the brand instantly because they are already used to the influencer's same values, tonality and emotions. So we at Mnemonic use the Big Five Factor Ocean model to run this analysis with the power of AI. What is excellent about applying this model is that it also provides insights on how to present the information. So based on Sarah's psychographic traits, she needs the information provided in a way shown below. So, reflecting a solid agreeableness trait, the influencer should use the community to support her message with interviews, shared stories, etc. Since neuroticism is also a dominant trait, the influencer should use clear and straightforward language to convey the message. So summing up, the fundamental decision a company has to make in the beginning is whether it wants an influencer that matches the existing customer base or to attract the same type, or whether it wants to attract a different audience. Irrespective of the chosen path, clearly understanding the follower base is essential. Of course, this all seems very complex, time-consuming and challenging, but luckily, with the rising availability of analytics tools and advanced machine learning, most processes can be automated without any manual work. If you're interested in a mnemonics approach, reach out to us. If you have any questions, also leave them down in the comments or remarks. If you like the video, I would appreciate a thumbs up, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.